Hi everybody, it's Friday and welcome to TNT. After yesterday afternoon's drama, hopefully we can dig in behind the headlines and see if we can get some more assurance about exactly what's happening. Of course, we were referring to the announcement that the Thai government would be requiring COVID vaccine proof if you're coming to Thailand after it was either January the 8th or January the 12th, it wasn't specified. We were reporting from headlines in the Bangkok Post and from Thai PBS World, which of course is government owned. So we're just going to go through the headlines and then through a few alternatives that have come out that maybe give you a little glimmer of hope. Now, for those people that are going, oh my God, I've got bookings coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm not vaccinated, what about my kids? I don't have specific answers for those questions at the moment. The only thing I would probably urge is just to hold tight for a couple of days. I think even today we should see some clarification on this, and hopefully there may be some accommodation for people that have made bookings, although they may not be vaccinated. So I think there's a lot more water to go under the bridge on this story. So let's get into it. And the first half of today's program really is this one specific issue. So let's dig in. And we start at Thai PBS World. 4 measures to be applied for foreign tourists, including those from China. And it says that Thailand's Public Health Minister has adopted 4 measures to be applied to all tourists visiting Thailand, including those from China, after the Chinese government eases travel restrictions on their citizens on January the 8th. And here are the 4 measures, and I suppose this is the crux of the story. Number 1 being the one that's causing the most concern. And it says that all visitors must have received at least 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine before their arrival. Well, it seems fairly unequivocal, doesn't it? But that is the first of the 4 measures that were announced. And as we read these, we should also understand that these are proposals from the meeting. So maybe these need to be ticked off by the Thai cabinet at next Tuesday's meeting. Again, I don't know. Number 2 says that all visitors should take out health insurance coverage, which includes COVID-19, before their departure for Thailand. Number 3, all visitors should wear face masks while travelling on public transport. I think you'll find that most people do anyway. Number 4, visitors should postpone their visits to Thailand if they develop a respiratory disease. Let's move on. Anitin Shavidakun, who's the public health minister, said that tourists who want to get vaccinated while in Thailand can do so, but at their cost, adding that the Thai government has no policy to provide free vaccinations to tourists. So that's a curious thing to say, saying that tourists who get to Thailand that aren't vaccinated can become vaccinated. So that seems to be a little bit contrary to those 4 principles that they set out. And down the bottom there, the Ministry of Tourism and Sports spokesperson says, for tourists who want to continue their journey to other countries where tourists are required to be screened for COVID infection, we're talking about places like India, for example, she recommended that they stay at an SHA Plus hotel where there are screening services certified by the Thai Medical Science Department. Let's go to the Bangkok Post now, and this was, I suppose, the main source of this information yesterday. Proof of COVID jabs for all visitors revived. And let's go into this story. All visitors to Thailand must show proof of at least 2 COVID-19 vaccinations under revised rules that coincide with the revival of travel from China. And I just note also that this story has vanished off the front page. So I had to actually do a quick search for it. I mean, it's still there. It was only published some 20 hours ago, but it's not on the front page anymore. Let's dig into this. It says, as well, visitors who will be travelling onward from China to a country that requires a negative PCR test must provide proof of insurance. This will ensure, the article says, that they can meet the costs of their treatment if their test in Thailand is positive. And that's a quote there from the Public Health Minister. The principle is there will not be any discrimination against a particular country because COVID-19 is spreading in all countries and the strains are similar. And he says in the middle there, Mr. Anitin made the comments following a meeting involving officials from the Ministries of Public Health, Transport, Foreign Affairs and Tourism and Sports. And there were also representatives from the Office of the Insurance Commission and the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. Now, a lot of these people, of course, are represented in the Thai cabinet. It might be difficult to see that cabinet then overturning the proposals that they actually made themselves. Going further into this article, he did not say when the new measures would take effect, but officials said they should start before the arrival of Chinese visitors. This is one of the main things I think people will be asking for today. In fact, we need some more details generally. Going down to the bottom of that page, and it says the first scheduled flights from China would arrive at Suvarnabhumi Airport on January the 12th. In the first 3 months of this year, 15 Chinese airlines would operate 15 flights a day to Suvarnabhumi, Chiang Mai and to Phuket. Then I went to the National News Bureau of Thailand, which of course is also owned by the Thai government, looking at their headlines yesterday. And number 5 and 6 were the only ones that referred to anything relating to COVID-19. And the ministry said COVID testing will not be required of Chinese tourists entering Thailand. And number 6, tourism provinces prepare for Chinese visitors. They were the headlines, but nothing talking about COVID vaccine certification being required when people arrived. Let's go to another perspective on this, to the Patea News. And the editor, Adam Judd, has come up with his ideas on this. He said Thailand proposes COVID travel requirements like proof of vaccination, but needs final cabinet approval. Led by the Minister of Public Health and the Deputy PM, Anatun Shavirakun, multiple government agencies agreed in principle yesterday to more stringent COVID requirements for visitors to enter Thailand. But Adam says that it's important to note, however, that the agreements are essentially proposals and need Thai cabinet approval before becoming policy. This is by no means a certainty, which is obviously an opinion. This may come in the next several days as the Thai cabinet generally meets every Tuesday. And the article says the proposals made today were that all international travellers must provide proof of at least 2 COVID-19 vaccinations, and then talking about the insurance situation, which we've covered in other articles. And then in the middle of the next page, TPN Media notes that the measures above are proposals still, and as a result, no firm set date or specific information around how to prove the requirements or what specifics around proof of insurance or vaccination is needed yet exists. It's unclear if the measures are passed by the Thai cabinet if an alternate way of entry for unvaccinated tourists would be provided. So that article adding a lot of question marks to the current situation, and that reported in the pateanews.com. Let's go to Bloomberg, who also surfaced yesterday with their own version of the story, and it's got actually a completely contrary section in its reporting. It started by saying Thailand's mandating COVID insurance for foreign visitors from countries that require negative PCR test results before returning home, reinstating the entry rule ahead of the likely arrival of Chinese tourists in large numbers. Now, this is the part that's going to cause some consternation today. Right in the middle there, it says visitors to Thailand won't be required to produce proof of vaccination at this time, said Tanis Petsuwan, a deputy governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand. So that's a completely contrary statement given the other headlines in Thai PBS World and the Bangkok Post. Just apropos of nothing in particular, just here's a nice little graph. And it's also in that same Bloomberg article, and it shows there the tourism arrivals in the months leading up to the COVID-19 pandemic, and then it shows the return of tourists for the past year. And you can see that the number of tourists coming through the turnstiles at immigration at the moment are nearly, just probably over a third of the numbers that used to come back in 2019, the last full year of travel to Thailand. So I just thought that might be an interesting graph. So here endeth our reporting on that issue of proof of COVID vaccination. Just sit tight. Don't panic. I can't believe that they're just going to arbitrarily reintroduce this proof of vaccination issue. when there's so many people that would have already booked holidays, and there would be a percentage of people who aren't vaccinated for whatever reason, and they would be hugely inconvenienced by this. So let's just sit tight and see what happens, and of course if there's any other major announcements, I'll make sure I get that news to you ASAP. Well, on to the rest of TNT today. Thank you for dropping in on Friday. If you do get an opportunity, please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. We're not going to send you rude emails. No one's going to turn up on your front door, but it does hugely help our channel. Speaking of which, we do have some quite exciting news next week about some new programming on TNT, maybe even some new faces. And we should also thank our sponsors 5 Star Marine for their incredible and ongoing support. So when you're next in Phuket, please support them by at least contacting them if you're looking to head out on a boat tour and have a chat to Sean and his team to see what they can do for you. On to the rest of our news today, and this story which says community comes to the aids of Dinas Cross Adam injured in Thailand. And this, I suppose, is just another warning to people coming to Thailand about insurance, about getting on motorbikes and maybe even not wearing helmets. Adam Davies, 28, from Dinas Cross, I'm assuming that that's in the UK, was injured on Boxing Day, currently in a Thai government hospital on the island of Koh Samui. And he sustained 3 fractures to his skull, a bleed on the brain, a punctured lung, 5 broken ribs, fractured clavicle, broken scapula, fractured ankle, and other minor injuries. Well, he's obviously in pretty bad shape. Adam was travelling and had come to Thailand from Nepal, and he'd hoped to see in the new year there. Adam's sister Jess has set up a GoFundMe to cover his medical care as his insurance had failed to pay out. Of course, the question is, why did the insurance choose to not pay out? Are they talking about he wasn't wearing a helmet? Maybe his insurance didn't cover him on a motorbike. Perhaps he didn't have a valid motorcycle license for Thailand. At the moment, there's no discharge date set for him. His parents are currently en route to his bedside and are hoping to get him moved to another hospital as they're concerned about the level of care he's receiving. So we obviously wish Adam the best and hope that he gets back to his home and recovers well. But this is a cautionary tale, and you need to make sure that you have got some sort of travel and health insurance if you're coming to Thailand. If you intend on getting on a motorbike, at the very least, you need to make sure you keep your helmet on and probably your shirt on as well, because you need some sort of layer of protection between your skin and the gravel on the road. Now, legally, you probably have to have a motorcycle license in your home country and an international driver's permit if your insurance is going to pay out should you have a motorcycle accident. Having said that, I notice here in Phuket that there is simply not one motorcycle available for rental at the moment. Well, that was certainly the situation between Christmas and New Year. And they were asking up to 5,000 baht a month. It used to be 2,000 to 2,500 baht a month to hire a motorbike. Now, I've got a spare motorbike and I thought I'll get into this, but I decided not to. But yeah, look, if you are going to get on a motorbike, the very least you can do is put a motorbike helmet on and never ever let your passport out of your sight. Don't let the motorcycle rental people take your passport as some sort of surety whilst you're renting the motorbike. That's not legal, and you'd be mad to let your passport out of your sight. Tim Newton today on a Friday, and tomorrow joined by young Nick again, who's going to help with the co-hosting as we go live around 9 a.m. Thai time. Your opportunity to join in. You're all welcome. So come one, come all, join in with our live program. I'm sure there'll probably be plenty of comments and speculation about the announcements made yesterday and whether they hold for the rest of today or whether we'll see any modifications to those announcements. We'll certainly have an opportunity to discuss those in the TNT live program tomorrow. This lady got a bit of a shock yesterday, reported by nationthailand.com. Woman hit with 6.6 million baht parking fee after leaving car for 2 hours. Now, generally, parking in Thailand is pretty cheap, certainly compared to many Western countries. This would perhaps suggest that that has changed. A woman who parked her car at a shopping mall in Nonthaburi, which is just north of Bangkok, was shocked to find a demand for 6.5 million baht. Her post contains a photo of the mall's parking fee collection machine displaying the amount of 6.5 million baht. According to her post, the woman arrived at the shopping mall at 9 a.m, parked her car before returning at 11 a.m. 9, 10, that's 2 hours as far as I can see. So a supervisor eventually turned up at the car park, checked the machine and diagnosed a glitch in the system. Supervisor apologised and let her leave without paying the parking fee. I have to say that parking in Thailand generally is very cheap. 6.5 million baht for 2 hours though, that's a little bit excessive. Story also from the Bangkok Post today, fleeing back to the provinces. This is a nice little article, I suppose, putting the spotlight on inflation and some little stories here which we'll pass on. Workers in Bangkok who live hand to mouth have decided to return to their hometowns as the cost of living in the capital becomes unaffordable. And they say expenses in Bangkok have doubled compared to before the COVID-19 pandemic. After deducting expenses, there's nothing left to save. Ms. Nee, who was one of the people they spoke to, said daily expenses for fresh ingredients have reached 3,000 baht, up from 1,800 baht. She's a food vendor in Bangkok. Another person says that some 45% of income, if you're poor, goes on food, while rich people only spend 27% of their income on food. Poor people experience worse inflation than the rich. That article's got quite a range of examples of inflation to ordinary people in Bangkok, causing some of them to look at heading back home. Heading now to Thai PBS World, and this is an overriding report on the 7 days of danger. 317 people died, 2,437 injured on Thailand's roads during the New Year holiday. So this was accidents across Thailand between December the 29th and January the 4th, according to statistics provided by the Department of Public Disaster Prevention and Mitigation. Says that nearly 35% of the accidents were caused by speeding, 80% involved motorbikes. Now, 24.5% were the result of cutting in front of another vehicle at speed. Now, about the 80% involving motorbikes, I'd say that probably 80% of the vehicles out on the roads are motorbikes, so we shouldn't be surprised by that. Also says that 85% of the accidents occurred on straight roads, while nearly 49% occurred on local and rural roads. So that straight road situation, I suppose, refers to people nodding off while they're driving and also probably speeding. More on that story, and the death toll and injuries from road accidents this year were the fewest in the last 3 years. And down the bottom there, the northeast province of Royet recorded the highest level of drunk driving with 469 cases, followed by Samut Prakan and Nonthaburi. Of course, those last two provinces adjacent to Bangkok. There's more. Repeat drunk driving offenders will be sent for boot camp rehabilitation for 3 consecutive days and will be required to comply with behavioural rules, such as reporting to probation officers. I would have thought that repeat drunk drivers should perhaps have their licence revoked, at least for a period of time. And just finishing with a bit of good news and a new arrival in Phuket. Check that out. It's sort of a floating tropical island. Isn't it beautiful? Let's just zoom in and have a bit of a look. Got all those little beds there, and you sort of can swim in the pool whilst you're looking at the sea. Very nice vessel indeed. This isn't a model, this is an actual thing. And it's the Yona Beach Club in Phuket. And they say, we're so happy to finally introduce you to Yona. Our dreamy oasis is located on the beautiful shores of Patong. Private cabanas, pool beds and a restaurant. Yona has a 360-degree sea view no matter where you are. And looks like it's going to be launched on January the 23rd. So good luck to the people at Yona Beach Club, a floating beach club. Huge investment, and it looks like it's going to be floating off the shores of Patong. So we'll follow the progress. They haven't paid me to say that. I just thought it was worth passing on. And with that, a bit of a busy day, and as we did yesterday, if there's any new news about the situation of COVID certificates and your arrival in Thailand, I'll make sure I get that information out to you. Otherwise, I'll see you for our live program tomorrow with Nick, and I look forward to that. Thanks for watching.